What's the deal? What's the deal? We back again, PolitiKan the podcast, live Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got a slew of topics to get to, man. So let's get to these topics. First up, who will be Rookie of the Year? So we got to vote on Rookie of the Year, man. Will Victor Wembanyama really be that guy? I want to know who's your top five, man, and is this guy still in your top five at this point? Who is your top five players in the NBA right now? We got 20 players from the XFL that are now in training camps in the NFL. Do you think that as this number will continue to rise over the years, will this become like a developmental league for the NFL? Drake makes a record 5 million off of one show. So these ticket prices for these concerts are starting to get ridiculous. And despite all of Trump's indictments, all of Trump's legal woes, he is still beating DeSantis in the polls for the Republican nomination, and he is still favored to beat Joe Biden from the Democratic Party. So let's get to these topics, man. The famous homie, Yaziketi. What's the deal, fools?
What's up,
What up?
dog?
What
What's
up? What
up?
up?
All right, so first thing we want to get to, man, Rookie of the Year. So it was the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. Everyone's saying that he's a new prospect. He's supposed to be like Giannis mixed with uh with Kevin Durant mixed with LeBron James. He's supposed to be all three in one, and he's supposed to be the next guy up. But then we got another guy in Oklahoma City with Chet Holmgren that was supposed to have that same skill set, that same body type. And he actually got injured and didn't play all last year. So technically, this will be his rookie season. We had Ben Simmons, do the same thing, sit out his rookie year, and he came back and won rookie of the year. He technically in his sophomore year. Then we got
I
Scoot
think Blake Griffin.
Henderson. Yeah, Blake Griffin did that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then we got Scoot Henderson over there in Portland. We know that Dame is probably going to be moved, and Scoot Henderson is going to be the heir apparent. So him taking over in Portland, he's supposed to be that guy. Brandon Miller, number two pick drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, he had a really bad summer league. He didn't look good. It's going to take him a few years, but then if you remember, like Jason Tatum, he didn't really look that good coming out. It took him a few years, and he might be in your top five. So, who do y'all think is going to be Rookie of the Year this year, and why?
Um, I think I'm gonna have to go with. Of course, there's three main prospects, like you said, Chet Holmgren, Wembanyama. I hope I said his name right. I think Wembanyama has the higher ceiling. Obviously, he's 7'5" with handles, can shoot. He has all the skills. It's just, with all the injuries that's been happening to these young cats coming out of school the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Lonzo Ball, the number 2 pick, he ain't played in 3 years. A lot of these, Zion Williamson, he was supposed to be the one, and he ain't played in really 2-3 years. So it's hard to really say, what's going to happen going forward. But I think Wembanyama has the highest ceiling, obviously has the highest potential. Chet Holmgren, I love his game too. I think he's right up there too. But he's coming off a major injury. Hopefully he can bounce back. So my pick is, in a short answer, Scoot Henderson. I think he has the most opportunity because of what you said earlier. Dame is going to be moved. Dame won't be there, and he's going to have the green light. He's next up. I think they still got Anthony Simmons and a few other young players over there, but Scoot, I done seen him ball, and that boy, he's the truth. For sure, he's the truth. So I think that Scoot Henderson is the choice, I think, that's going to win Rookie of the Year. Dude got it all. He's athletic. He got skills. He got moves, all that stuff. So I think Scoot Henderson is going to be the Rookie of the Year for right now. Not saying he's going to be the best player out of the three, but I think immediately he has the opportunity to go over there and do some real damage. And Chet's playing with Shai Alexander, and he was a damn near MVP candidate last year. Averaging 29, I think, last year. And Weminyana, Popovich, he don't. Greg Popovich is a coach. He's not really the coach that's going to let you go out there and just shoot 20 shots a game. You got to play within the system with Pop. So, Weminyana, his stats might not look as good as Scoot. So I'm going to go with Scoot.
So, just to chime in on Scoot, one comment real fast. Scoot decided to not go to the college route. He didn't go overseas. He actually went to the G League and paid for the Ignite. So for him to be a top prospect coming from the G League, is more of a testament to the G League itself now, and how this developmental league is going to serve as a place where people ain't going to college, especially with the NIL and all this other stuff. I mean, the G League is looking like a real option when you got people like Scoot Henderson getting drafted when he went to the Ignite instead of going to college. Go ahead, yeah.
And with that, I think that gives that boy a little more hunger. I don't even know how to pronounce that dude's name, so I'm not even going to try it. The height is there. I don't believe the height because, he has a good skill set and everything like that, but the NBA is a different league. And if you just look at his picture, if you just go off of that boy's picture, wait, he gonna play what? He gonna play the center position? Or are you gonna put him at power
forward? He's gonna play the three.
Okay,
he's gonna play the three.
Well, that's good, because I was gonna say you put that boy in like that power forward center position, he gonna get ate up. You see how skinny he is? Oh no, he about to. I think if he put a little more weight on, he'd be pretty good. I think he will have more longevity in the league, not be pretty good. I just would say he will have more longevity. I just think that skinny body type, it works for Durant, but how many Durants are they really?
Facts.
And so that skinny body type at that height, I just don't know. Porzingis didn't do that. Like, he was the unicorn, and look where he at. He can't stay healthy. Like, all these super tall dudes. Only tall person that I ain't hearing getting injured is, what's his name? Bobo or
Boban.
Something like.
Bobo.
Yeah, Boban. Yeah,
Bobo.
He the only one that seems to stay healthy. Like, than what I seen, but it was the Magic. So I'm going with. I don't really pay attention to the rookies anyway, unless you're Derrick Rose. Had to throw that in there. But other. Okay, I'll take that back. I used to be a Steve Francis fan too, but he had to share the award. But I think he's a target for all the hype that he is. Like LeBron, he had the same hype going into the NBA, but LeBron had the body type to get hit. This dude, you about to be playing against some grown men, and it's a lot different playing overseas than in the NBA. For example, I know it's not the same league, but freaking Dwight Howard's over here shooting threes in the league that he's in overseas. So, like, Dwight Howard's throwing behind the back passes and showing that he's like Dwight Howard of the Orlando Magics playing overseas with the same competition he was probably playing with. So it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think that Scoot Henderson, him coming from the G League, I think that he's just gonna be ready to go. We had a look at Brandon Miller, and we could tell off the rip that Scoot Henderson is better than Brandon Miller. So Charlotte missed on that. That's why Jordan decided to sell majority owner. Jordan is no longer majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets. He is still a minority owner, but they missed again. I think LaMelo Ball is the only solid player they drafted in the Michael Jordan era as an owner. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Brandon Miller, he's going to be, if anyone's going to be a bust out of him, Brandon Miller will be the bust. Chet Holmgren has that same body type. You know, he got that pull-up jumper. He's like a Dirk Nowitzki type. So I think that if anyone is going to be between Scoot Henderson and Chet Holmgren for the Rookie of the Year this year, I have to edge it to Chet just because he had all last year to play without, you know what I'm saying, learning the system, learning how to play in the NBA, bulking up, doing all this. But because he was injured, he didn't actually have to play in the games. So he got all the knowledge, he learned all the travel. He learned basically how to be an NBA player without having to play the games and call that his rookie season. So I think that he has the most to gain. Scoot is really still going to have to learn the NBA game, and that's why I'm going with Chet Holmgren.
I changed my pick.
Him and Shai going to be crazy next year on OKC. That's going to be crazy. OKC was good last year without him. They're going to be crazy good.
Yeah.
I changed my pick.
What's the other white boy named Giddey, or what's his name?
Yeah, I think it's Giddey. See, they got a squad, bro. They going to the playoffs this year for sure.
Yes,
sir.
I changed my pick. I choose J. Cole. See, what he gonna do is, since he has ownership now, he gonna be an owner, and then he gonna draft it. He gonna be a free agent and pick up himself.
Burnt out. All right, so let's get to the NBA, man. So going into 2023, a lot of these old players that used to be superstars are no longer seeing their worth as you would per se in the marketplace. So as these Asian superstars are aging out, I want to know, who is your guys' top 5? Who's in and who's out? Is a player like LeBron James in your top 5? Is a player like Anthony Davis in your top 5? Where does Kevin Durant land? You know, he ain't really had no good playing days since the Warriors. Has he played well enough? Has he stayed healthy enough to be in your top 5? Who are your top 5 players in the NBA right now, from 1 to 5?
Where are all the LeBron James fans that be up in the chat, that be coming on here on every other day? But when we need to talk about LeBron, have y'all noticed that? Like, they'll jump on if we have to talk about D Rose, and I gave them that heat, and then they want to jump on when we talking about everything else. But when it's time to defend LeBron, nobody is ever here to defend LeBron. Why you have to defend LeBron? LeBron, I'll tell you who's not in the top 5 right now. LeBron James, you are not in the top 5. You have been struggling for the last 3 years, been play in. How are you going to be one of the top 5s and your team is in the play-in tournament or not making the playoffs at all? No. LeBron is not in it. KD, you ain't in it neither. I mean, you went to the Phoenix Suns that were already stacked, and you couldn't even get them to the chip. Y'all lost? Like, okay, you out. Let's see who else is out. I mean, Anthony Davis, is Anthony Davis really in the conversation? No, he is not. So, y'all, who's the top 5? I don't have no order, but right now, I'm going to say this. Right now, the GOAT of the NBA right now is that man right there. That man is the GOAT of the NBA right now. Steph Curry, he is the GOAT. He's the GOAT right now. So I'm going with Steph. I'm going to put Joker in it. I'm going to give it to Giannis. I'm going to have to throw Embiid in there. And I'm going with Tatum. Now, there's no particular order. I'm going with Steph because in the last, 5 years, he got 2 of them things. I'm just going off the limb. Word to LeBron James fans. All I'm saying is, LeBron James, it took you 19 times. Probably, let's say at least 16. Let's make it easy for you. It took you about 16 times to get 4 championships. It took Steph Curry 9 times to get 4 of them things. When are we going to start talking about LeBron James and how he's been so-called the GOAT, and all he's doing is just using longevity to pat his stats? LeBron, all I'm saying is, if Steph gets one more, is LeBron really better than Steph? I mean, LeBron, what? You're on your about to go on what? Your 21st or your 22nd year in the league? Steph is on his 14th. So if he plays as long as you, don't you think Steph could get like 3 more of them things?
Mm-hmm.
Could Steph pass Jordan? I mean, we need to start putting some respect on that boy's name. Now, Giannis got a ring in the last 3 years. Joker got a ring in the last 3 years. I put Embiid in there only because he's arguably been the best regular season MVP. I mean, I think he got robbed last year and he got it this year. So he's been good. He's been choking in the playoffs. Let's get that correct. He's been choking in the playoffs. But if you go top, and then Tatum's been keeping the freaking Boston Celtics afloat for the longest. So those are my picks. But if you're trying to, if LeBron fans was on here, they'll try to reverse it and be like, well, the question is about who's the current player that is considered one of the GOATs. And so LeBron James has to be in the top. No, if you got to do something like that, then you got to put Kawhi in there, because Kawhi has won many championships, and technically he's still a current player, right? Then you got to throw KD and stuff like that. But we talking about current, who doing their thing right now. And Steph Curry came out and said he just hit his prime. So y'all better watch out.
Fuck. Yeah, I got to give you your flowers. I think that's probably your best take on the show. History, like, for real. Like, bro, you did your shit, like, on everything. Like, that was one of your best takes for sure. Like, salute. Like, I agree with 95% of everything you said. You on point. I don't think LeBron James is a top 5 player, and this is not from a hating standpoint. LeBron is still great in his own right. He's still able to put up the same numbers that he's always put up, but those numbers don't have the impact that they used to. Bron averaging 27, 7, and 7 on a team with another superstar like Anthony Davis and great role players around, that usually means at minimum a finals appearance. And because Bron can't play that great in the playoffs anymore, he physically can't do it anymore. Against Denver, LeBron James did not look like a dominant player outside of that game 4 in the first half when he scored that 31 points. But he had 2 or 3 in the second half because he was gassed out. LeBron James is physically not able to do what he used to, and his stats simply don't have the same impact as they used to. So the same from the hating standpoint, LeBron is no longer a top 5 player. Now, is LeBron a top 10, 12, maybe 13? Yes, he's still the top 10 to 12-ish player. He's still up there, but he's not in the top 5 anymore. So no, him, I don't. With KD, I'm such a fan of KD. I think KD's played pretty good over the last couple of years, but not being able to win outside of Golden State for the last 3-4 years. I mean, he had Kyrie and Harden in New Jersey. I mean, Brooklyn. I'm sorry. Then he had Booker and Ayton in Phoenix, and lost to Joker. Those are good enough teams to win, and he wasn't able to get it done. So at the end of the day, everybody can make these excuses and all this other stuff, but KD simply has not won a championship or sniffed a finals appearance without Golden State. He ain't won without Steph Curry. He hasn't. 13 with about. Man, come on. He going to blame that on AD, and AD averaged 28 points a game. If you don't knock it off.
Oh, my God. See, there you go. There's that.
Man, these LeBron James fans is delusional, man.
Delusional. LeBron did not do anything in the Western Conference Finals, man. He averaged 22 points a game or something like that. That's
Rondo
not
won
LeBron.
him his last championship. Dwight Howard won him his
So who
last
your top
championship.
five, Ronnie?
So,
Who
all
your
right,
top five?
I'm gonna get to my top five. I know I'm taking a long time. Top five, it's damn near similar to Yas. I got, and this in no particular order, so I don't feel like doing that. The order thing: Jason Tatum, Stephen Curry, definitely Stephen Curry, Giannis, Joker. I don't have Embiid because I think he's a choke artist in the playoffs. So I'm going to say this player with an asterisk because he's always injured, but Kawhi Leonard is still a top 5 player in the league when he's on the court. I know he's not available. I know he's not always on the court, but Kawhi Leonard, to me, is still a top 5 player in this league. So I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard at number 5.
Joel was a toss-up, so I don't really care about him. I'll take out Joel and put D Rose, but that's just my personal opinion.
And I have my top 5 exactly the same as yours. I got to put Kawhi Leonard in there because even this year when he was in the playoffs, the 2 games that he played, he was in championship mode, and then he messed up his knee again. Right. We didn't have Kawhi. You know, we was in spite of Westbrook. Westbrook was actually killing. And it looked like, man, if we could just get to the next round, get PG back, we could really surge. But then Kawhi got injured again, and the whole momentum left. But I have to say, man, Kawhi really showed that, hey, he's still him. And if he's healthy, he's got to be top 3 to top 5 player in the league anytime he's on the court.
In the last 3 years, injured Kawhi has done more for his organization than a healthy LeBron.
That's facts. I want to address that Bron fan real quick before you move on, Caleb, because I'm tired.
Hold on, he got another comment.
Yeah, give me 30 seconds to address this. Why do y'all say that LeBron carried y'all? Do y'all not remember how dominant Anthony Davis was defensively against Memphis and Golden State? Memphis and Golden State couldn't get shit on the inside because AD was so dominant defensively. Offensively, AD was unstoppable. Golden State had no answer for AD. Austin Reeves averaged 22 points a game in that Golden State series. Like, how did LeBron carry y'all? What are you talking about? AD was dominant against Memphis. Austin Reeves was fantastic against Memphis. LeBron did not carry nothing. Why do y'all always say that he carried?
He was jacking up three.
Y'all so delusional, man. He didn't carry anything. He played well against Golden State, and he played well against Memphis, but he didn't carry anything. AD carried them offensively and defensively, just like he did in the bubble.
Oh, my goodness. That's the thing about LeBron fans. But LeBron fans can't tell you, LeBron James fans won't tell you, okay, so you played 20-something years in the league, and you only got 4 championships, and then Steph Curry played half of what you played and got the same amount. Who's actually the better player?
Come on.
Who would you take on your team? A person that, if you go off of percentages, Steph Curry's percentage of winning championships is better than LeBron James.
That's facts. Yeah. And Mr. C.
So go back in the comment box and talk about that.
You got to get off Kawhi. See, there you go, Caleb. He's trying to get on Kawhi talking about load management. Kawhi's coach, Tyronn Lue, has came out and said that was not load management. Kawhi got legit injured in the playoffs. Why do you guys get on players for getting hurt? Like, it's not Kawhi's fault that he hurt his knee. It was a legit injury. Tyronn Lue came out and said it, and I think on All the Smoke, go watch the All the Smoke interview, that ain't no load management. Kawhi and Paul George are hurt. They're legit hurt. Kawhi's not ducking shit. Kawhi was killing Phoenix before he got hurt. Kawhi's not.
It sounds good.
Yeah,
it sounds good because you can't answer the question.
Exactly.
Oh, but one more thing, Ronnie. One more thing. If you two guys are talking about load management, I swear I seen last year. Didn't LeBron James at the end of the season, wasn't he wearing a boot? So he wouldn't have to play? Then all of a sudden the boot came off once it was playoff time? That's not load management? Okay.
Right, that part.
Yeah, and last thought on Embiid, even though he's the MVP, the way that he cried last year when he didn't get the MVP and just quit in the playoffs, I can't put anybody with. I'll put Jimmy Butler and his mentality in before I could Embiid in my top 5, just because that mentality is, you can't play with it, you can't win with it. There's nothing you can do with it. And I think that's ultimately why they will never get a championship, and why James Harden wants to come over here to the Clippers. Because he's like, I can't win with this mentality. Even if he's the so-called MVP, his mindset is just not one of a winner. And that's why I don't think he'll ever get that championship over
Actually, I take Embiid out. I will put in Murray. Joker is nothing without Murray. No. Joker is nothing without Murray. Give that boy some respect.
My dark horse is Anthony Davis. I'm sorry, that was my honorable mention. Anthony Davis is on the outside looking in, because when he's on the court, it's hard to see a more dominant player on both ends of the floor.
He said we can't slander Bron.
How
Bron slanders himself losing. Bron slanders himself losing to Dirk Nowitzki.
The NBA's told us how they feel about LeBron James right now. They literally made a flopping rule because LeBron James was flopping in the Western Conference Finals. And they said, we can no longer allow this shit to happen no more. We got one of our top superstars, the leading scorer of all time of the league, flopping in the Western Conference. This is getting out of hand. And this is why we got the LeBron James anti-flopping rule now, because they can never put a product like that on the floor again, not in the Western Conference Finals, when y'all motherfuckers really don't even deserve to be there, which are playing asses.
One last thing about LeBron, and I'm done. This is my last thing that I just thought about with LeBron. So when it comes to the Laker organization, right? Technically, they have 17 championships, right? But their last championship has the asterisk by it, right? People go, oh, Lakers, your last championship was a bubble championship. Correct? Everybody agrees with that? Right? Okay. If my memory corrects me right, shouldn't that same asterisk be by LeBron James's 4th championship? You can't do it to an organization and not do it to LeBron James. So why, when we talk about LeBron James, we don't go, well, your 4th championship was an asterisk. But when you go to the Lakers organization, you be like, oh, that was a bubble championship. So, LeBron, did you win a bubble championship? No? Okay, keep going.
That's a good point.
And as we can see, his age, he can't dominate. The only reason why he was able to do that is because he took a golf cart from the hotel down the 5 minutes down to the arena and went in there and played with no crowd.
Right. recover for hours. That was blowing that motherfucker down with weed, according to the players. Everybody was smoking big. Recover. Weed help you recover faster. It was faster recovery. I mean, come on, man. No crowd, no road crowd, no traveling, no getting on airplanes. They're eating the best food. Like, come on, bro. Stop it, man. The bubble championship, bro.
All right, man. We got to move on. So we're going to get to the XFL, man. So the first iteration of the XFL was a failure. They brought it back right before COVID, and then COVID took it out. They sold it to The Rock and his investment group, and last year was the first year to return. After this return, now there's over 20 XFL players in NFL camps right now. Do you see more players from college that don't get drafted going into the XFL, and the XFL growing as a product and becoming like a developmental league for the NFL? Do you think are they going to always be separate, or do you see like a future partnership with this as it going forward?
Go ahead, yeah, my man.
I come from a different angle on this. I would say that the XFL and the NFL have always been partners. We're just now seeing them now partner up when it comes to the players. So what I mean by that is the technology that the NFL uses with their cameras, they actually bought it from the XFL. So like the overhead camera that goes over, that was actually in the XFL first. when you first watched the XFL, they had the different angles. Now you see the NFL using those same angles, and they actually bought that patent from the XFL. So they all have always been, and that was under what, Steve McMahon or something like that. So they were always taking stuff from the XFL. Now they're taking the players, which I also think is a good thing because, like my boy Deshaun Shedd, he was technically an undrafted player, and he ended up winning the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. So I think it's a good thing. I think they should have a development league. On the other side of it, it is what we talked about last week, though. 20 players from the XFL gets in, and some of the top players in that have been in the NFL still can't get a job. So go get an XFL player, leave Cam out. That's where they're going with.
I personally think that, like y'all said, relating to that, the XFL at first was Vince McMahon. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Vince McMahon has a football history, right? He's been in wrestling.
No, he does not.
Yeah,
WWE.
He hasn't played football. He was the owner of the WWE, which used to be the WWF when I was a kid in the Hulk Hogan days. But he don't have a football background. He was just some rich dude that was trying to try a good idea out, which I'm not mad at. But he didn't have the know-how and the skills to get it done. I think The Rock taking it over. The Rock has a football background. The Rock played competitive football. He knows the game. He has a passion for the game. So I think it was a good thing for The Rock to get his investment group to take over. And now you see the big strides it's making. I love it being a developmental league for the NFL because, in my opinion, I know that they've kind of raised the wages of some of the players. Are starting to get a higher bag, but for a long time, NFL players were underpaid, man. NFL players weren't making no money for what they do to their bodies, all the CTE and all the stuff that goes on with their head trauma throughout their careers playing football professionally. So I'm glad that, the NIL has arrived and kind of making college, even for a lot of the college players that don't pan out, they got another shot or a better option like the NBA with the XFL that could pretty much take college football and make it a run for its money. I know college football is a lot different, but I think the XFL could be a viable partner for the NFL going forward for them to, develop players and give players a second chance that maybe had a bad tryout or got nervous or didn't do well. They got a second chance to go kill in the XFL, then go get in the NFL. I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm looking forward to seeing the development of the XFL over the next 5-10 years with The Rock at the helm.
Yeah, that's for real. It's like, I think that's what was the one thing that was missing with the NBA. And I think that's one thing that was missing with the NFL. And as we just talked about, the NBA, we got Scoot Henderson getting drafted number 3 from a G League team. You know what I'm saying? Now people are looking at the G League as actually a valuable option instead of being like nobody ain't ever went nowhere from there. You know what I'm saying? So the perception of the G League is growing, and I think that we're gonna see a lot of people. We got D Wade's son; he plays in the G League. It was a strong consideration for Bronny to not go to college and go straight to the G League and just develop and go into the draft after 1 year. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that it's definitely going to be a route. And I think that the XFL is on the same path as the G League. I think ultimately it's going to get bought out or have some type of partnership with the NFL. And, you know what I'm saying? Each NFL team is probably going to start to get their own XFL team, essentially. And then if the XFL runs during the NFL offseason, then we will be getting 24 year-round football. And I think that ultimately this is where it's headed. And within the next 5 years, I see a partnership with the NFL and the XFL as far as the XFL being a developmental league. Well, let's get to this hip hop news, man. So Drake had a performance, and Drake made a record $5 million on one show. So I don't know exactly where this concert was at. I don't know exactly what those ticket prices was looking like. But the fact that you made $1 million in profit off of one show, you know what I'm saying? These ticket prices for these concerts are not what they used to be. What are y'all thoughts on Drake making $5 million on one show? And y'all feel like these concerts are really worth all that money that people are paying for them nowadays?
Um, I think it's crazy because I was just having a conversation with my kids about the difference of eras. You know what I'm saying? I was telling them how I was 13 when Tupac died and the impact that Tupac had on the game in our era, in our era of music, in the industry, period. I asked the kids what would be the star because I know we lost X and Nip and Mac Miller and two King Von, too many of them named. But I asked the kids if what star rapper, if they passed away, in this era, who would they like feel it the most? And they all said Drake. So I think I'm not comparing Drake to Pac because I think they're two different artists, two different styles. But I think Drake's influence and his own influence, which is a different influence that Pac had, but Drake's influence and his longevity and him being consistent. I mean, Drake, whether you like him or not, Drake, I've really never heard Drake drop a whack song like ever. And I wasn't the biggest Drake fan at first, but him being so consistent, like I had to start giving that man his flowers. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely an entertainer. He's a great songwriter. He knows how to write hits. He has great music. So it doesn't surprise me that Drake was able to pull 5 mil because everybody loves Drake. Like I don't even know any Drake haters. Like I really don't. Like I don't ever hear anyone saying anything bad about Drake as an artist. Like he's definitely. If somebody could pull that much from a concert, I definitely feel that Drake would be one of the ones to do it. Drake or Kanye or somebody like that. But it's crazy because a lot of these other artists, they aren't selling out concerts. They aren't selling out concerts. I forgot which artist I seen an article on that was struggling to sell tickets, and then they said Wu-Tang and somebody else sold out or something. I forgot what I seen with that, but Drake is still very relevant. And are they worth, to answer your question, is it worth the money? Concerts are great, but even if I was the biggest baller in the world, I can't see myself spending, a gang of money on a concert. Like, you know what I'm saying? Unless it is a Drake, so or somebody like that, Kendrick Cole, somebody that I like, Kendrick Cole, some historical rapper, somebody that I grew up listening to, something like that. But it doesn't surprise me because Drake he's of this era, man. He's probably the biggest influential, overall. Just combine record sales, combine popularity, combine consistency, combine influence, combine all that together, and Drake is probably that dude of this era. So it's not surprising me that he made that big ass bag off of these concerts, ticket sales.
Yeah, man. I think it's time for us to have the who is the rap GOAT debate. I think that's the next topic that we need to get on.
Facts.
And really go from there because like the famous homie said, Drake is technically the Tupac and Biggie of this era. Who is bigger than Drake? And with this happening of him making 5 million off of one show, and no other artist has ever done that, does this mean that Drake is better than Eminem? Now, I'm not talking about lyrically. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm just talking about, is Drake the Jordan of hip hop? It is a conversation that must be had, ladies and gentlemen. Is there artists that are more lyrical than he is? Yeah, I believe that J. Cole is more lyrical than Drake is. but Drake knows how to appeal to everybody, right? I also, in my personal opinion, I believe the original Drake, and if she didn't go crazy, I compare Drake to Lauryn Hill. Like, who else was coming out, will rap on a song, and then all of a sudden give you some vocals, you know? And that just reminded me of a Lauryn Hill, but Lauryn Hill can sing better than Drake. Drake does hit on, like, Drake's singing is only one note,
Right.
but ladies and gentlemen, if that doesn't teach you anything, you don't have to be a jack of all trades. You just need to know one note. That one, fuck that nigga. That's all you need. That's all you need. And you can end up with $5 million. I'm just saying you can do better. See? That's all you need. Matter of fact, I'm changing everything. When people ask me, y'all, what do you do? I'm only coming out with one camera. I ain't coming out with two cameras. This is one camera. Why? I am draking you till I hit 5 million. But yeah, you gotta give the man his flowers. He did it. If I'm going to go see a Drake concert, it better be like, if you're gonna pay some buku money, you better be getting like a meet and greet out of it. I mean, is there meet and greets, or was this just the wait in that line for like 2-3 hours, go to your seat that you sitting way in the back, and you just pay like $200 to not even see Drake, but you got to take your phone and expand it to try to get that picture? Dang, that is crazy. And that, on the other side of that, are we still in a recession if Drake is making $5 million off of a concert? I don't know.
Yep, people living above their means.
Way above their means. I ain't gonna pay my bills, Ronnie. I'm gonna go see Drake.
Right.
I think that after the pandemic, everybody was locked up, and everybody realized, you know what I'm saying, life's too short to be sitting around not enjoying shit. And I think that the artists are definitely hyping the prices up because they went 2-3 years without getting no money. So now they got a super tax to try to recoup, to try to get back to where they was financially, because they couldn't do shit because they was locked in the house. Don't y'all remember every rapper in the world had a podcast? As soon as the world opened up back again, wasn't no more celebrity podcast. Fat Joe, what happened to your podcast? Hell nah, I'm getting money to perform Lean Back again. Yeah, I fuck that podcast. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But Drake getting $5 million off of one show.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? That lets you know, like, the power of this shit, man. You could go crazy right now. And that's really the reality. Let's get to this last topic, man. So Donald Trump, man, seemed like this dude got another charge coming up every other day. He got the sexual misconduct shit. He got the new charges about voter fraud and him trying to overturn, you know what I'm saying, the election last year. He's actually getting, they're trying to charge him with stuff connected to the insurrection on January 6th. He got all these different indictments coming through. And yet he's still winning against DeSantis for the Republican nomination. And he's still ahead in the polls as far as, what does they call it, approval rating. He still has a way higher approval rating than Joe Biden right now. So what are y'all thoughts on Trump, who, despite all his legal woes, still over here looking like he can still run for president, and not only run, but win the presidency? What are y'all thoughts on this shit, man?
This is the only time in America where you would hear, if you are a white person, you are innocent until proven guilty. This is the only time. If you are white, you are innocent until you are proven guilty. If you are a person of color, It is reverse. You are guilty until you are proven innocent. I don't know how you got so many charges against you and you still able to run for president. I mean, if marijuana was illegal and I had a marijuana charge against me, I'll be done. I wouldn't even be able to no, Blackie, you can't run for nothing, right? This also proves that when there's no competition, it's easy to win, right? We all say, even though Bill Russell got 11 of those things, who did he play against? We're going to take that into this. Who is he running against? Joe Biden? He's going against Joe Biden. Joe Biden, if you give Joe Biden, another 4 years, he'd be, in the mid-90s? I'm probably over-exaggerating, but, who is he running against? He really has no competition to go against. We've seen what Joe Biden has done for the United States over these last 4-something years, which is nothing. Sleepy Joe, smoking Joe, let his son sniff in the White House, Joe. Can't control your son, Joe. I mean, damn, Joe. It just, man, we screwed, man. The United States, we don't got. I mean, the president don't control nothing anyway, but he's the face, and right now, he don't got no competition. That's all it shows me is he don't got no competition. He can walk and do whatever he wants. He is matter of fact, if Trump wins again, I'm going to say this. If Trump wins again, Trump is the LeBron James of the presidency. And I'm giving it to him because in the world, Trump can't do any wrong, and people are still giving him passes, just like they do with LeBron. LeBron can't do any wrong, and he's still considered the GOAT. I mean, this man has charges against him, and he can be president from the jail cell. That's crazy.
It's wild it is. Like my man, y'all said, that's wild. You know what I'm saying? But it is funny because, I mean, for me, this whole Donald Trump thing, it just really shows what America is. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think we progress so much from, racism, but the whole term MAGA, Make America Great Again. When the fuck was America ever great? You know what I'm saying? Like, what era are y'all referring to? It's never been great for black people. So you guys are obviously not talking about now. You're saying America's not great. So when are you guys talking about the 1960s, the Jim Crow era? Are you guys talking about the 40s and 30s, the segregation era? Are you guys talking about slavery? What are you guys talking about when you say make America great again? And since all the Donald Trump's followers, they be wearing these hats, I got somebody in my neighborhood with that shit on his truck. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you motherfuckers is really, really, Donald Trump brings out the racist white people. Let's keep it a stack. That gives the racist white people want to come out and want to express their racism and be openly racist with some of their shit. So those are the people that's coming out for Donald Trump. That proves that most of America is still very fucking racist with their views because Donald Trump's racist ass and his racist statements, how Donald Trump has been openly racist to Mexicans, how Donald Trump has been openly racist to black people, how Donald Trump's parents did not want to rent out or give housing. Donald Trump's dad didn't want to, it was something back in the day about him not approving house loans to black people. So, all of this racist stuff that he has going on, now he's leading the cabinet. It doesn't surprise me. It proves my theory and proves my point about how racist America still is with these racist white people. Ain't no way you could be wearing a MAGA hat and tell me that you're not racist. There's no way you could be supporting Donald Trump as a white person and tell me that you're not racist. If you're a black person not supporting Donald Trump, you're ignorant as hell. If you're a Mexican and supporting Donald Trump, you're dumb as hell. So, white people that support Donald Trump, you racist. So it doesn't surprise me that he's still leading the race, because these motherfuckers is racist and they want to see America be great again. I don't know which era, which part of the history of America y'all want to go back to, the 40s, the 30s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, all bullshit for black people. So what are we saying here? What are we really saying here? What do we really want to go back to?
Make slavery irrelevant again.
That part. That part. You know what I'm saying?
Make
like,
it relevant again.
Make slavery relevant again. That's what they want to do. You know what I mean? So it's I just see, it doesn't surprise me. And it's not going to surprise me if Donald Trump doesn't win presidency next year after all this shit that just came out. Like y'all said, when you white is, innocent until proven guilty. When you're black or Mexican, is guilty till proven innocent, especially on a big stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, let something happen to one of these celebrities or a scandal come out. Look what happened when Kobe was accused of rape. How many people still call him a rapist to this day when he was acquitted of all charges? That man has been proven innocent of the charges, and people still call that man a racist, a rapist. Like, look at all these black men, when something happened to them, like y'all said, they guilty till proven innocent. Now Donald Trump, there's no proof he's innocent. So it's no surprise I see him winning the race again, and I see America going crazy again from 24 to 28. But I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be strapped up. I ain't playing with these racist motherfuckers.
And the crazy thing about it is, Trump is in trouble for what he's done, right? And everybody forgets that, didn't Joe Biden get in trouble and he took like the paperwork and he hid it or something like that, where like he got caught in his driveway, with his documents, it's caught in the driveway or something like that, and all of a sudden that paperwork is gone. Like, I don't know. This is crazy.
So the Department of Justice, the DOJ, because Biden is in power, the DOJ works for the president. So the people that are supposed to investigate him or do something to him are the same motherfuckers that work for him, employ the Secret Service, and do all the shit for him. So they're his employees. So of course they gonna raid, Trump's hotel and Trump's, Mar-a-Lago estate to find his documents. But then when Biden gets caught with him, because that's your boss, it's not the same thing. And then, but then you got your son over here taking money and your family taking money from these companies, and now they're on trial. And then you're supposed to have a whistleblower, so we talked about last week, and then you have your lawyers call the clerk's office, and try to impersonate the other lawyer. And now you about to go to jail because they threw your plea deal out. So they was offering you a deal, and after you tried to have your lawyer impersonate the other lawyer, now the plea deal's off the table. And now, you might take your whole family down with you, as far as Joe Biden's son. So
that sounds like both of them have charges against them.
Basically, both of the top presidential candidates have charges against them. And DeSantis, the one that is running against Trump for the Republican, he's the mayor of Florida. And he's the one that just okayed the change for the kids to be taught that slavery actually gave us advantages, and that black people benefited from being enslaved. And this is what they are teaching in Florida. And this is because he is the mayor over there. So the Republicans are very clear on the type of people they want to follow.
Right.
I know there was no advantages. I know there was no advantages in slavery. I mean, have you ever had certain white people's food and it had no flavor? So, like, y'all remember on Life when Martin Lawrence went to go eat the whites only pie? So, I bet a couple of slaves back then tried that. They had to get it from somewhere. They tried that and they had that pie, and So they didn't have no flavor. So just their food taste alone is wasn't benefiting black people back then. So what you think? They weren't giving them houses. They
Right.
weren't giving them no housing. So, dang.
That's real.
Yeah, man. So it's crazy, man. Politics is funny as
Again.
hell, man. If you watch this shit, man, you watch it and you're like, it's so unbelievable and so blatant, and they just talk about it like it's not happening. They talk about it so nonchalantly on these news programs. You'd be like, do you understand what you're saying? Does anybody hear what they're talking about? And that's why we always got to bring that shit up on here, man. We got to keep the people informed. We got to at least put the information out there for the ones that want to know it, man. Well, let's get some shout outs before we get up out of here.
Yes, sir. Shout out everybody. Shout out to the panel. You know, of course, Caleb, you know, the founder of PolitiKan Broadcasting, man, who's really created a hub and invited us. You know, I've been fucking with Caleb since 2018, I want to say. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to give up. I was ready to give up doing my own show. And, you know, he invited me to his studio the first day we met. And I came through. You know what I'm saying? And we've been making it happen ever since. He gave me the motivation to keep on going amongst a lot of other people in my life. But he was definitely one of those ones that, you know, made me want to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Sharing a lot of the same vision. So shout out to Caleb, the founder of PolitiKan, and Yachiketi for being so consistent. He's on here every week, politicking with us. You know what I'm saying? And keeping the show going. So shout out to those two guys and all of our other guys that's in our absence. Too many of y'all to name. You know, everybody who's been fucking with the PolitiKan brand or who've been, you know, olive branch to the PolitiKan brand. We got a lot of extended family out there in the media world and the entertainment world, period. So, you know, shout out to all y'all. And shout out to all the people that's listening to us live on YouTube, on video, and also PolitiKan Radio, because we are all over the world on the radio, and we do got fans that is tuning in and listening to us. So I want to let y'all know that we appreciate y'all for staying fucking with us. And stay tuned. We got Media Madness, August 26th, Paris, California, pool party, Chef Boy headlining. Y'all make sure y'all come get your tickets. It's $15 early bird special. 20. What is it at the door? 25, 20 at the door.
25.
25 at the door. You feel me? Come have a good time with us and come see us go up. Subscribe, like, and share the PolitiKan Broadcasting channel, and make sure y'all go check out the blog too, the politikanforum.com. See y'all next week.
Shout out to you, brothers. We got Dank. We got the famous homie. I'm only consistent on this thing because I believe in you guys' vision. I believe in you, brothers. And it's the good book says iron sharpens iron. And I'm in a point in my life of if you ain't sharpening me, or if I feel like my tank is halfway empty and you ain't pouring no gas up in my tank, then that means you ain't somebody I need to be around and associate with. So I'm only consistent on here because these brothers fill my tank. These brothers help me to navigate, keep my hustling going, and also give me a word in due season and help me understand struggles from other black men. And that's what I love the most. So appreciate you, brothers. Keep being consistent. You guys are always consistent. You know, if Dank don't show up, who running the board? Y'all ain't getting nothing. You know, if the famous homie don't show up, the show ain't complete. So, like, we all play a critical role. Shout out to the other brothers that do get on here. I would challenge y'all, if y'all are watching, if you say you're going to be on here, be on here. If you ain't going to be on here, like, I get missing every once in a while, but, you know, if you're going to be on, be on. If you ain't going to be on, then move on. That's all I got to say about it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to y'all, both of y'all brothers, man. Famous homie, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? People I ran into on this walk, on this journey that decided, that they was on their own journey and our paths align. And that's why we, it just flows naturally. It's not like anything that we got to force. The people that are aligned with you, that are there to help you get to where you're going, have already been lined up for you. You just have to be able to identify those people along your pathway. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, fuck with y'all brothers, man. Appreciate y'all joining me every week. I've just been grinding it out, man. I've been trying to take it to the next level. I've been trying to figure out what we got to do to ascend. I'm focusing more on the money, bringing in revenue. Not just for me, but for the whole squad. And this whole journey, it can get overwhelming, especially when I work a corporate job where, I'm five in a department that deals with everyone in every department. So, and then trying to detach from that and get straight to the work right after work, as far as events, as far as content, as far as editing, as far as scheduling the next thing. It does at times get overwhelming, but like you said, y'all, when I got brothers like y'all that pour into me, y'all keep me full, y'all refill me, y'all keep me motivated, so that I don't get that drain. It's like, let me make that phone call, let me send that email, let me make that post, because if I didn't, then I'm gonna let my people down, and that's one thing that is my biggest fear, is letting my people down. So shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all, brothers. We doing another one. PolitiKan the podcast. Getting to it. We got Media Madness coming up. We finna go crazy, man. One way or another, we're like an unstoppable object, man. We gonna get to where we going. And ain't no way y'all can stop us, man. We're unyielding. So I don't know what you gonna do with your life, but I'm gonna get to it, man. PolitiKan the podcast. We're about here.